Swerve me wrong. Bad booking is not the reason WWE ratings are down. So, Ralph, I'll let you start. Why is the bad booking the reason the ratings are dropping?
The answer to that is actually quite simple, and I alluded to this earlier. So wrestling nowadays is considered sports entertainment. If it is not entertaining or it is not intriguing enough to draw you away from another television show, why would people watch it? If it's not entertaining, people are either going to choose something that is more entertaining to take up their time, or just shut the TV off altogether and do something else. Now, the thing with that is obviously, like I said, this is entertainment. There has to be some sort of drama to it. Aside from just the wrestling, it needs to tell a story. They're not producing anything compelling. At least that would be my opinion. It hasn't been good in quite some time.
Well, let me tell you this. Let me ask you this. On Raw, what was the most talked about segment on the show?
Kevin Owens and Elias.
Right. Okay. Because of the reaction that they got and the loud boos because Elias mentioned the Supersonics, which I didn't realize was that sour of a spot. But then again, we can relate, being from Connecticut, how the Whalers left Hartford. But that was part of the third hour, which was the lowest of the 3 hours in the ratings, which usually is the case. And it drew, 2.19 million or whatever the rating was, something like that. What was and I'm going to ask you this. Do you know what the highest viewed segment on YouTube was from Raw?
Was it that?
No, it was not.
What was it?
It was the main event with Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, Triple H, and Kane.
Not surprised.
And that had, at the time I saw this yesterday, 4.6 million views. So, obviously, people are still watching the product. It might not be on traditional cable. And that's where this argument falls short, where people are saying that the bad booking is the reason for the ratings. You look at anything in television right now in ratings, they're all diving. I work in television. I know this. Television networks don't care about ratings anymore because they don't necessarily tell you who's watching and who's not. There's so many different ways you could watch a show on WWE Raw. You could watch it the traditional way on cable. Now there's streaming providers. Sling, DirecTV Now, YouTube TV, all those other ones. I do not think those come into play as far as the ratings are concerned. Then you have the DVR and people recording on their DVRs. That somewhat has the ratings involved, but not as weighted as someone actually sitting there and watching. You have YouTube, which WWE, I said this last week, is the 8th most subscribed channel on YouTube. So obviously people are watching the product. There are 2 million subscribers on the network. People are watching. The reason for the bad ratings, part of it could be the bad booking. They've definitely alienated some fans, and people are finding alternate programming, whether it's Impact Wrestling or New Japan Pro Wrestling or Ring of Honor, wherever you're going. But at the end of the day, when you look at all the ratings of all the wrestling shows, WWE goes beyond what Impact and Ring of Honor and New Japan are doing.
Oh yeah, of course they do.
And let's look at it this way. You look at Fighting Spirit Unleashed. There were obviously empty seats at the Walter Pyramid, which I think seats 5,000 people. If it's such a great and better product than WWE, then why can't they fill a 5,000 seat arena if it's that good and that alternate programming? Whereas WWE just sold out the MCG in Melbourne, Australia, which seated 70,000 people.
Right.
So obviously the product is good enough where they're still selling out 70,000 seats in a stadium, where New Japan Pro Wrestling, which is this great alternate programming to WWE, can't even fill a 5,000 seat arena.
Just tell me again, what was the number 1 rated YouTube segment that you said from Raw?
Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Kane, and Triple H.
And what main evented the Super Showdown?
That match.
Okay. And you just said that Monday Night Raw had the lowest ratings in, I don't know, was it a couple of years or how
Ever,
long?
all time.
All time. How do you not see that problematic in multiple ways?
Because ratings is not a barometer like it is.
So the problem is this. The thing we're trying to discuss is it the booking? A part of the booking means that you're establishing new stars. And if you're here telling me and trying to convince me that it has nothing or not as much to do with booking and that they shouldn't be concerned, I'm going to tell you you're wrong. And the simple fact is this. The Undertaker and Triple H are from the Attitude Era.
Yes.
Well past their prime, as is Kane, as is Shawn Michaels.
But but hold on, before you finish your thought, if this is where I think you're going to go with they're from the Attitude Era, they're recognized names, so they should be, that the people are watching it, and that's why the YouTube views are up. But then why were the ratings down?
The ratings were well, like you just said, that speaks to your point. There's alternate ways to find their stuff. If somebody just is interested in Shawn Michaels and Triple H and Undertaker, they're going to go find that stuff.
Right.
But then you have that one segment with the oldest guys on the card who people want to see and that they could care less, and we talked about this, care less about all the younger talent.
But that's not because of bad booking.
It absolutely is, and let me explain to you why. So, Super Showdown, was Carmella on there?
No.
Where was Carmella doing 2 months ago?
She was the women's champion fighting Asuka.
Right. Was Jinder Mahal on there?
No.
Where was he like 3 months ago?
He was in a feud with Roman Reigns.
And what was he doing before that feud with Roman Reigns?
He was the WWE champion and US champion.
So you have a guy who carried 2 very prestigious titles who we were supposed to care about, and Carmella, who was the women's champion for however long. She beat Asuka, she beat Charlotte, all these accolades, and now all of a sudden, here comes Super Showdown, 70,000 seats. Where were they? Were they on the show?
No.
And that is not bad booking to you. That is not that you don't think that tells a story where it says, okay, these people are good enough to be champion, but 3 months later, sorry, you can't even get on a card because I'm sorry, we just managed to book you into the title match, but somehow you're not good enough. That speaks volumes because it tells you that.
Does that speak volumes on bad booking or the fact that they're not over enough to be in an overseas show?
It speaks to both.
No. So Jinder Mahal, we all knew that was an experiment to try to expand into India. That's the only reason.
Further bad booking. This all ties together.
He became WWE champion to try to further market into India. And when they were done with their India shows, he dropped the title. It's up to Jinder Mahal at that point to get himself sustained being worthy enough to be a WWE champion. He did not do that. But this is not whether or not the booking has been good or bad. The argument is if the booking is the reason for the poor ratings. It is not. There are too many other reasons for the poor ratings.
Absolutely. The booking is absolutely one of the biggest aspects for the bad ratings because of all the things you just said. Jinder Mahal was used as an experiment to get into India. Then if he's not good enough to be the champion for any other reason aside from that, he shouldn't be the champion. And if he's not good enough,
and that's why they took the title off him.
He should have never been champion. That's booking. That's poor booking.
No,
and the fact that he was given that
how many times have we seen this where they try to put a belt on a guy to see if he can be a worthy enough champion, and it doesn't work? That's not bad booking. That's just how it works.
That's just bad booking in the sense. Why do you think Carmella was a failure as a champion?
No.
Then why all of a sudden is this person who was supposed to be so prestigious all of a sudden now she's dancing next to K-Quick in the friggin' middle of the ring? It's stupid. That's bad booking because it tells your fans this person was good enough to be your champion last month, but she's not good enough this week.
But only so many people could be on the card. And when and if Carmella is supposed to be a heel, and the only women's matches you have on the card right now are a match with the Iconics, who are a hometown wrestlers, and Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair, which is your championship match. Yep. You're not going to throw Carmella in there. So why send her overseas?
Because it delegitimizes the fact that those people made those accomplishments. And it tells the viewers, this is another reason why the booking ties into the ratings. It tells the viewer that these were your champions and now they're not good enough to be on a pay-per-view. Not only they're not good enough to be on a pay-per-view, they're not good enough for main event spots. So stop watching. You should not care about this product. That's a big part of it. The other big part of it
and yet they filled out a 70,000 seat arena. and they are about
The
to,
ratings
and they're
are
gonna.
not good. You just said the rating. WWE's name is going to sell itself despite anything. My main point is this: if your main thing is going to be the stars of yesteryear, and you can't get guys over, which we talked about, because either the WWE can't get them over or they can't get themselves over, there's something to be alarmed about, especially when you see the ratings dropping. If guys can't get themselves over and all people want to see, which you've just confirmed by your 4 point whatever million views on YouTube, if all they want to see is the stars of yesteryear and they could care less about all these young guys, there's a problem there. And that is translated in their ratings.
No. So I will close with this. What I'm saying is you have a segment that was on the lowest rated hour of the three be the highest viewed segment on YouTube. And the second one behind that was Elias and Kevin Owens.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me that because the two segments that were not that were highly viewed on YouTube and were lowly viewed on television, you're saying that that's the reason why the ratings are bad?
Yes, because nobody.
What I'm saying is there are too many ways to watch Monday Night Raw and watch SmackDown that ratings don't matter. In television today, ratings don't matter. The only time where ratings matter is live football and sporting events, and anything else. Anything else, ratings don't matter because you have Hulu, you have YouTube, you have streaming devices, and people are not watching like they were anymore. And the decline is slowly becoming. I actually had this conversation with someone earlier today. Where do you think cable's going? It's going to be obsolete within 5 years. I work in the industry. Trust me.
I'm not disagreeing with that. Here's my point. You've already established that Raw was the lowest rated Raw of all time, correct?
Yes.
And you've already established that the one thing that was the highest viewed was the Undertaker segment, correct?
Yes.
And we've also established that there's alternate ways to view things, and people go out of their way to view those things on YouTube or somewhere else. Right?
Exactly.
And knowing that the Undertaker segment was the highest viewed thing,
that goes to show you it's not the bad booking that's causing bad ratings.
It absolutely does, because you have the oldest people on the card who are still the largest draw. And not only that, but people are tuning out not only on YouTube, which are confirmed by the numbers, but they're also tuning out on television itself. Nobody's watching Raw, not because, it's cable and nobody watches cable anymore. Nobody's watching it because it sucks.
Is AJ Styles the best WWE superstar since Shawn Michaels? Click the video on the screen now to see what we thought. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell for notifications to see more videos on the Squared Circle Psychobabble. And of course, follow us all over social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at SCPB Podcast. Listen to the full podcast wherever podcasts are available.